So the build cycle for Wayward Rise is probably going to be making an initial thing and then getting it out to people so that they can test it, and then taking their feedback and deciding how long the build cycle is going to be from there and what needs to be done. It's probably going to take a lot longer too, because each of the levels in this game are going to require a significant amount of content, and I'd like to build some of those as fast as possible, but the amount of artwork in this game is... I've noticed that the artwork is taking a long amount of time, and the more of it I make, the faster I get at it. So by the end, it's probably going to be nice and quick, and I'll be able to make all the things, but at the same time...
Excuse me.
Are you having fun over there?
Yep.
Where are all the maids? They're over there in my house. I'm gonna make a few nether maids and just go, hey, guard this place. This is a dangerous area, and, well, the maids are going to do all the things for me. Whoop. More dirt. Dang dirt pockets. Let's see. The difference between trying to build your dream game, which has all of the different features and all of the different ideas that you ever want to put into the game, and trying to build some kind of random game. Well, one, you're trying to build it to your own specifications, and your specifications can be very exacting, demanding, precise. They can be loose or fluid, but if you have a lot of ideas or a lot of concepts that you need to put in the game and you want to make it last a long time, then it's going to take a long time to make. And if you don't have any examples for other games that you can go look at to go make the game you're trying to make on, you have to design everything from scratch. And there's not a lot of people who can design super high level concepts and ideas for games from scratch. So yes, it's pretty hard. Whereas if you're going to go make a brand new platformer, we've already got Mario, we've got Sonic, we've got a ton of games that you can go look at. If you just want to go make a brand new platforming game, you just want to go do highly technical platforming where you jump and you fly and you move around and you go do this and that and this. Heck, you can look at any of the Metroid games for platforming, or you can go look at Minecraft for platforming. There's already a lot of examples of that. Is your game going to be all handcrafted, or will you randomly generate things? So, I'm going to say it's going to be 99% handcrafted and 1% randomly generated. The idea with the game is to make a world that you build up from scratch. So, you having randomly generated stuff in the world means that those things have to be in the world for you to build off of. So maybe we'll put in some craters or some blasted area, but you're not supposed to have the world be the way it is. Like Minecraft, the world can be 100% randomly generated because we've got this, that, and this, and maybe not the netherrack, but we've got all of the other things that exist in the world. Whereas I want you to build your own world, and I want you to build it from scratch. I want you to build everything in the world. That necessarily means that I can't have a bunch of randomly generated content. It has to all be handcrafted because the player is going to be handcrafting it. And when the power is imagination constructs coming into reality, well, whatever they can imagine is going to be what they've got. Ah! Hi. Now, you can take that a little bit further and you can go add something that lets the player make their own things out of different parts. Like maybe they can make their own handcrafted stuff, but they're still going to be grabbing a fishtail, some stone, a big pile of bones, and shoving them all together to make a dragon. Ah, I did it again. One way or the other, it's not going to be about the world itself. The game is going to be very player-based, and the player is going to be the one doing things, and they're going to be the one in control. Even though they're building a world, it's going to be quite player-centric. It was one of the mistakes I made early on with the design for this thing. It's why I have 3 or 4 different prototypes, because the idea was there, but it didn't quite feel right, because you should be doing things yourself. You should be making the world. You shouldn't have the world make itself unless you make things that let the world make itself. And early on, you're not going to want to make things that make the world. You're going to want to experience the things that you're making. What about animals and constructs? Okay, let me pop open the design map. We got two documents right now. There's a design document that has all of the details, and there's a design map. Let's see, it's a progression map. And the progression map details the overarching things where we go from place to place. So if I look at this, so on level 0 you have a couple of abilities. That's a tutorial. And you're just going to be experiencing the game from a basic level. Like, you'll be able to move around, you'll be able to explore, you'll be able to go see some of the things that are in the world. You'll be able to find things, make things that come from underground. So you might be able to grab things from the world later, but that's not really what it's about. So you just spend a couple of minutes there, then you get up to the next level, and you start making plants. Great. I explained the entire tutorial in about the time that it should take to get through the tutorial. To be fair, the tutorial extends out into level 1 as well. And I'm not sure if I should just be starting the game from the beginning, or maybe you actually start from the first level. You're like, okay, I can make stuff. That remains to be seen out of testing. But anywho, let's see. So, on level 1, we have simple plants. And my inventory is completely full. Level 1, you're going to make plants. Level 2, you start making more complex plants. And then you start making simple animals. Each of these things has their own key item. So, first one has bushes. Second one for plants has potatoes. And the key item I have marked for animals is called sunshine. You sort of pull up liquid gold sun and you make an animal out of it, and then you start combining that animal with some of the other things. Then the third level, you're going to go get more complicated plants that interact with the world. So you get a tree as the key item. Then I don't have a one marked for the I don't have one marked for animals, but you make more complicated animals. Then you start making something different. Because each time you're going to get something new. So you get things like water pools. So you get structures that you start messing with the terrain. After that, you're pretty much done with plants. Your animals are not just animals anymore. You start getting to the point where you have actual NPCs that you can interact with, you can trade with. They start making the world themselves. As such, you need to be able to start making buildings and other advanced structures. And the new idea there is going to be talking to spirit, some kind of spirit chat, something where you start having things that exist out in the world that don't really interact with what you've made, but still exist on some level. There going to be some spore-like animal creation? Probably not. At least not that complicated. There are cute things going on in the background. That would be Raikala laughing at something.
What?
They can hear you. Don't worry about it. See. So level 5. Your NPCs are capable of taking care of themselves, so you're not worried about that. Instead, what you start making is like spiritual structures. You want to make nice cultural areas. You want to make big gardens and farms. So you like nature so much. You start making, I guess, the world-building equivalent of a park. And of course, you need something new to deal with on that level, so you start messing about with the weather. And weather's fun. Weather is super fun. Because you start being able to make things like rain happen from the sky whenever you want. You start having the sun come out. You start... I mean, it's an imagination construct, so maybe you make fluffy cotton clouds. Like, they're literally made out of cotton. Then you make cotton candy out of them. You start doing things on a much larger scale. I don't have anything marked for level 6 or 7. The only thing I really have marked for level 7 for weather is being able to deal with meteor showers or space. I'm sure level 7 itself, the new concept, is going to deal with space or something involving game mechanics. Like, you want to go wreck the world now because the world itself is done. So you do a few things, then you start causing mayhem. You start wrecking the world. Let's bring down a meteor shower. Let's blow up the world with a volcano. You know, you've just had enough of it. It's like when you get to the end of SimCity, you're like, I don't want my city anymore. Hey, Godzilla! In before Fire Girl summoning meteor rain. Yeah, she probably would. But meteor rain that causes more fire in places, that goes and gets attached to her other existing fire structures. Actually, meteors are ice, aren't they? Yeah, we've just had enough of fire. Let's bring some of that. It's like big blue fire. Oh, it's ice. Oh well. One thing that I'm worried about with this kind of game is that if it gets too big, the game itself will get away from me, and I'll just be building huge amounts of content over time, and I won't be able to get done with them anytime soon. I don't actually have a time frame for how long this is supposed to take to make yet, because I don't have an example, and I don't know how long some of the later parts are going to take to make. Like, given the way this is going, I might have to start releasing each one in chunks. Might be, hey, let's put this in early access, and each time we build out a new level or a new character, we will have them go and experience the game, and then we unlock a new level. And once we unlock that new level, we can experience the whole new level. It would work pretty well like that, because you just build up whatever you have, and then, hey, new things. And each level that you build on should be able to stand on its own and be worth interacting with in the world. Like, I want the beginning gameplay to be just as interesting as the ending gameplay. It's harder than it sounds. Would the end game be more like God game? Probably. See, the thing about these particular characters, they're a race called world seeds, and the more things that the world seed makes, and the more attached they get to a world, the more powerful they become. To the point where early on they might just seem like a basic human with some weird powers. Like, hey, you could be a superhero. Well, you're a crud superhero. Oh, hey, you're getting better at learning your powers. Okay. Later on, they'd be like, you are some kind of god-level entity that just made the entire world. Let's worship you. It really depends. Putting in NPCs in a game like this, where, I mean, like villages, things like more complicated NPCs that you can interact with and do things with, is not a simple concept. That part alone is going to take some time. I keep flattening out areas for this too. Well, now that I've got this done, as it's totally not done in front of me, as soon as I get this done, I'm going to have to go. I have somebody to meet today. We're talking about a book they're writing, and I'd like to be able to talk to them about my things too. Whoop. Not sure how far we're going to get into that. We're definitely going to talk about what we need to talk about next time. And they're going to be here pretty soon. Of course, every time you join, the stream is almost done. Well, sorry. I'm doing my best here. Anywho, I think it's time to go. Let me just finish up this little bit here. My inventory's full. There we go. One nice chunk carved out of the world where I can netherify this and make it a nice building area and growing area for nether plants, and I need to cover it up with netherrack. Oh well. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time.